Hi guys. Today I am doing a video on Anubis, which is of course Egyptian god. I did see in the poll that the Greeks is winning now, but when I went to do my researching and make sure all my knowledge is correct last night, Egyptian was winning. So I know it's Greek now, but Egyptian was winning at that point. I did my research, so I'm gonna go ahead with the story I had planned for that research, and then probably do Greek tomorrow, depending on if I have the Timu stuff or not. So, anyway, by the way, I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I am so very grateful for all of you. I can't even tell you how amazing that is to me. All I really have to do now is get my video watch hours up, and I should be able to go ahead and apply for monetization and hopefully get it, and that'll help me out a great deal, and it will also allow me to put some money back into my videos, get better clothing, some maybe a decent microphone to help, some better equipment for video, that kind of stuff, because right now I'm just basically operating off my phone. So if it's at a distance, you can't hear me as well as if it's up close. You know the drill. So anyway, today I'm focusing on Anubis, who is arguably the most recognizable god in Egyptian mythology. So I figured I'd go ahead and get him out of the way, since everyone pretty much knows who he is, or at least what it looks like. He's the one that looks like a jackal. He's usually depicted as either a man with a jackal head or as a full body standing canine, with the jackal head. And he's usually holding a crook in one hand and a flail in the other, and a lot of times they're crossed over like this. And the crook and the flail symbolize authority. And he is kind of the ultimate god of death. There are so many other gods and goddesses that are about death, but he's the main. He's the one everyone thinks of. And a lot of times he's portrayed now as being almost sinister. That was not the case. In Egypt, death was just as essential as life. Very, very important. They understood with the fertility of their lands that they needed to have death fertilize their lands. The Nile wash the death back, and there was so much to fertilization. If you're any kind of farmer, you probably know that, but death was a big part of that. And so they recognized that, and the soul going to the afterlife was also a celebration, because they would be reborn in the afterlife in their eyes. So back to Anubis. He was credited in Egyptian as inventing mummification, and this would allow the body to continue living in the afterlife, because during mummification they were purified, anointed, incantations were said over their bodies, and there were certain rituals and objects that were used to try to restore the senses to the different parts of the body, because it was believed that the bodies themselves would basically be put back together in the afterlife, and so they needed to have their senses working, hearing, all that. Anubis also guarded tombs, and he guided the underworld when the person would die to the afterlife, which was important. And he was the patron of lost souls and helpless people as well. He was very much a protector in Egyptian mythology. Now, one of the big things, and one thing a lot of people find fascinating about, I'm so sweaty, about Anubis, is that he was the one that would weigh the heart. The heart is where the Egyptians thought the soul was. It was the utmost important part of the body. And so the heart, when it would be removed, according to their myth, Anubis would weigh that on a scale, and on the other side was an ostrich feather. And if the heart was heavier than the ostrich feather, it would be said to be devoured. And that person would end. There would be no more to them. If the heart was lighter or the same weight as the feather, then they would be considered worthy and sent to the afterlife. So, and he weighed that, but it wasn't really his choice. He wasn't really a judge himself. He was just the handler. But he would guide them to the afterlife if they were approved, if they were worthy. And he also, when Osiris was killed by his brother Set, I'm sorry, Anubis helped Isis, Isis went and grabbed all the parts together, put them together, and Anubis helped her, not in putting the parts together again, but she gave him the organs as a gift, and he protected Osiris's body, and also helped him be put back together again in the afterlife, like not in the physical life, but in the afterlife. And Set tried to come and attack the body, and he was dressed as a jaguar. He took the shape of a jaguar, and Osiris stopped him. Osiris stabbed him, subdued him, but one thing that he did was he banded Set's skin with a hot iron. And that in Egyptian is how a leopard got the spots. It's just that branding. I don't know how that would have applied to the rest of leopards in the world, but that's their belief structure. Yeah, and then this is a little gruesome, but he flayed Set's skin and wore it as a warning so that other people would not attack this body. And so a lot of times in rituals afterwards, a lot of the priests would wear leopard skin as a symbolization of protecting the body and warning any intruders from coming and taking it. So yeah, that is the basis of Osiris. He doesn't have a lot of legend behind him, but he was extremely important, very well recognized. Now his statues are everywhere. You see him in all the little shops that have the cute little Egyptian statues and stuff. He's a big deal, but it was more because death was so important, not because he has a whole lot of stories behind him. So, and he's huge. So if you like the story, go ahead, like, subscribe, all that. Thank you. Bye.